So it is a Transformer Tuesday today, and it looks like we're not going to be getting any new Transformer reveals today because, well, we just came off of San Diego Comic-Con. It was a crazy weekend. I think we had plenty of reveals over that weekend. Of course, it's never enough for us Transformer fans, so we do have some more stuff to talk about from the Transformers Q&A. I did a nice lengthy segment just yesterday with a whole bunch of information from interviews with both the designers and the marketers at Hasbro and Hasbro Pulse. And now there's some more. We have some extra questions and some extra answers and information that were not available to us yesterday, and we have them here today. And we also have, coming straight from his honeymoon, Hasbro designer Mark Mayer also did a post and gave us some information about what was happening with the design of the Legacy RC and what we could have potentially gotten in the future. And who knows, maybe might still get in the future. But we'll jump into that in a moment. Let's start first with the continuation of the Q&A that we started yesterday. And we learned through a bunch of questions that were asked that indeed Wave 4 next year of Transformers Legacy will have the final Stunticon member of Breakdown, and he will be shown off at Hasbro Pulse Con, which will be happening at the end of September into early October, so be sure to stay tuned for Hasbro Pulse Con. That is the first time we are going to be seeing the final Stunticon member that is going to be added to it. And again, Breakdown is repaint fodder. I'm pretty sure we'll see G2 Breakdown. We'll see so many repaints and everything like that. All of those Stunticons. I'm telling you, we're going to see a lot more of those molds in the future. Evan also mentioned here, and this was really interesting, he mentioned that the lack of Scramble City compatibility with those limbs being dedicated specifically just to the Menasor mold, that was the original plan. And for people who don't know what we mean by the lack of Scramble City compatibility, the ability for those combiner limbs to be arms or legs at your choosing as opposed to dedicated spots on the body. So, but they noticed that it's actually very well received by the fans, and the fans really like what was done with Menasor, and now they're keeping that in mind for future potential combiners. So what we saw with Menasor, with the dedicated, show-accurate kind of look and that exoskeleton with Motormaster to make Menasor, chances are we're probably going to see that in the future with future combiners. Now, who that'll be, we don't know. Me personally, there's what I feel they'll probably do, and then what I feel, will probably, end up happening. They're probably going to go with the aerial bots. That's a lot of trademarks that they need to retread again. It's not my first choice in terms of what I would want, but it's what makes sense from a business standpoint to go with the aerial bots. They have to redo that Silverbolt trademark. They didn't even go a Beast Wars Silverbolt route in the past couple of years, so I see them just doing the aerial bots as the next stop. Me personally, I'd like to see on the Autobot side, let's say Defensor, because there's a nice diversity of molds there. Ambulances, helicopters, police cars, fire trucks, motorcycles. There's a lot of fun that could be done with a Defensor mold. But that being said, I just think that the aerial bots make more sense from a business standpoint, even though it's just a whole bunch of planes and might not be as interesting. But we'll see what happens with that. We will see what happens. It's up to their call, but it does look like that's going to be kind of the future way of how they're going to do combiners in the future, just because of how well received it was, and Hasbro acknowledging that. They also mentioned here that Hasbro's considering for late 2022 and, of course, all of 2023 being both the anniversary of Transformers Armada, and they consider 2023 the anniversary of Transformers Armada for the Japanese side of things, because that's when both the cartoon and the toys were released over there. And they're going to be doing stuff for that anniversary. And that goes back to what we discussed yesterday, where they talked about, that Armada Optimus Prime, it's going to have a place in there. And then when they made that mention of when we get into the Armada toys, how we're going to be doing mini-cons. So it looks like 2023, we're going to be seeing a lot more Armada product, mini-cons and stuff like that to celebrate the Japanese 20th anniversary of the brand. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. We're going to see a lot more of those Aaron Archer designs and everything like that next year. Maybe some Unicron Trilogy stuff beyond that even. Energon and Cybertron more so in the future. who knows? But they're paying attention to anniversaries, and that's interesting to pay attention to. They also mention here they have a positive reaction of going into the Omnibots. They're saying anything is possible. They'd like to do them, and that's pretty much all they said. The Omnibots have always been, and I feel like this is a question that's been also asked to me many times about the Omnibots and if they could happen. And I've always said, like, the one thing that I think that has stopped the Omnibots from happening all of this time is the trademarks. I mean, Hasbro, up until I want to say like 2010-ish, had camshaft, had downshift. They had those trademarks. They have not used them in over 12 years since then. And overdrive has been lost back in the 80s. Like, they haven't used overdrive in forever. And that's literally been the wall that they've been hitting throughout all those years. I mean, I remember back in, I think it was 2014, one of the Generation guidebooks, they showed some potential repaints that just never happened. And they showed, hey, let's do the Omnibots. And it was, I think there was Universe Ironhide was camshaft, Universe Silver Streak was overdrive, and Universe Wheeljack was the downshift. And they were pretty nice repaints of those molds. No new head sculpts, just straight up repaints. But it was them going like, hey, maybe we could do this. And of course it didn't happen. It went to a fan vote and it didn't really work out in Japan. But I think that part of the wall that hit was if those products were to be brought to the West, all the trademark issues and stuff really become a big issue. So until they really file those trademarks and get those three together, filed and ready to go, they're going to be hitting all those roadblocks. And yeah, like, you know, you could get a downshift trademark and then you could use it for the Omnibot, then you could use it for a Minicon when you do the Armada thing. But overdrive and camshaft, that's where it's like, it gets a little dicey. What do you do with those afterwards? I mean, yeah, okay, like you could revisit other versions of camshaft, like the alternators version or a spy changer. But at the end of the day, you're really stretching it. It's really, downshift's the only one that could be attached in other areas. Oh, he was also like the Wheeljack name in Energon. And there's places you could stick downshift. But camshaft and overdrive, those are the tough ones. And I mean, the way that I see it, I firmly believe that's what stopped us from getting Omnibots all of these years, where it should have been a shoo-in. Those are known characters to the community and Mailway stuff and Generation 1. And, you know, they've just been ignored primarily because of trademarks. I mean, it even goes back to like the alternators where it's like, oh, this was supposed to be overdrive, but we're going to call it Wind Charger because we can't get the overdrive trademark, and all the drama with that, which I'm pretty sure one time we're going to talk on the Toy Armada in the future. They also made a mention here of the Voyager class Coneheads from Earthrise getting re-released in Legacy at some point. This is primarily because the Thrust was a Target exclusive and was heavily scalped, and not many of them fell into the hands of fans. And the Ramjet and Dirge, which was an Amazon 2-pack, kind of the same thing. Low numbers, sold out almost instantly, and then became very difficult to get in the secondary market. So I think they're looking at it and going like, you know what, if there's a potential to somehow get those molds and put them out there, maybe they might be doing a deco difference like they've done in the past. They did it all the way back in the day where the Coneheads, when they were deluxe classes, were BotCon exclusives, and then they had them all re-released with new tooling and new paint. In all honesty, better new tooling and better paint in retail. So, I mean, I could see them doing something like that, just doing them a new paint scheme, putting it out there, and giving people yet again another opportunity to pick up those characters because, man, they were scalped. They were just scalped to death. There is a guy in Montreal, I don't want to name his name, but this guy was brutal. He just went through by the way, it was Toys R Us in Canada how we got Thrust. He wasn't a Target exclusive here. He went through every Toys R Us and just got every single one of them, and then was bragging on Facebook, and he just had this photo on his kitchen of like 5 of them, just going like, if anyone wants one, $180 a piece. And I was just like, oh, this guy. Anyways, so now there's going to be reissues of it out there. Hopefully during Legacy, it'll give people other opportunities to pick up those key characters in the Voyager class. Good stuff. Another thing too was the mention of they want to do more Minibots into that deluxe price point. That they said they're going to make them all eventually. That's literally what they said. So just for those that are keeping track, the ones that we haven't gotten in the deluxe price point yet of the 84 crew is Brawn, Gears, and Wind Charger. Of the 85 crew, it's Beachcomber, Powerglide, and Sea Spray. Of the 86 crew, Outback, which would just be a Brawn retool, Swirl, Tailgate, and Wheelie. Wheelie just got a core class, so I'm pretty sure they're going to want to put a little bit of distance in between that before we see a Wheelie in the deluxe class, outside of obviously that GDO one we got many years ago. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I would dig it, especially a Brawn. I love Brawn. Brawn's a really cool character. Beachcomber, too, would be nice to see in a deluxe class. Gears was something I felt we would have got during Kingdom, but that ended up not happening in the end. We saw it in that promotional art. Outback would be cool, too. Just any of them in that higher budget price point for those characters. Would love to see it. And then, of course, afterwards, it opens up all the repaints from those molds. I mean, Tap Out, Glyph, I could go on and on. So sooner or later, we're going to get those sculpts in deluxe, and they'll make their money back from tooling, retooling, and all the other characters that could come from that. And that's more or less it for the Q&A of the leftover stuff that we got from Hasbro at San Diego Comic-Con. We also have some behind-the-scenes stuff from Mark Mayer during his honeymoon. He posted some behind-the-scenes stuff in relation to Legacy RC and, of course, the Road Rocket and Flame War retool repaints that we got afterwards. And what was really cool that he posted was he was showing how at some point during development, because usually when they plan these molds, they also plan the repaints and the retools around the same time. And when RC was being put together for Legacy, there was plans to kind of also have Axer, the G1 Action Master, be the retool repaint. And Mark is a big lover of Action Masters, and he really wanted Axer to be part of that. And it's interesting, too, because around, like we look at the IDW Transformers Wreckers Tread and Circuits comic, and a lot of those repaint retools ended up in that comic. Even Axer is a big part of that book, too. Now, Axer obviously didn't sport the Legacy RC body type. He had his Action Master look, but it's kind of funny how, they all kind of circle together inside that one comic book in a lot of ways. But so they were literally going to take the RC body, put the Axer head sculpt on it, a brand new weapon just to mix it up a bit, and that is that. It didn't happen in the end, and ultimately Yuki-san talked with Mark, and they worked out something where instead they were going to do maybe Road Rocket or Road Pig. They wanted to do something that was more in tune with a Konichi, which is like a Japanese female ninja. And the rest was history. Next thing you know, we got Road Rocket being a female character. Originally, and what was really cool is that those two little Energon circlets that are on RC, they would have combined together and have a ninja star kind of veneering and sculpt in the center to kind of add to that ninja look, like it being a ninja star that they could throw. But that didn't happen in the end, kind of a shame, but still pretty cool, I like in the end what we got still. But, I mean, at the same time, I don't think Axer would have worked on that. I think they would have had to resculpt the majority of the body. Axer's always been a more bulkier kind of motorcycle character, and on that more feminine kind of body, it just would have looked kind of weird, in my opinion. They also showed, like, some prototypes and test shots of how they would have worked out the Flame War and how, Mark likes to mess with the toys in person and get ideas, and how they ended up getting Fireglide to be like the weapon for Flame War to kind of match what the old Beast Hunters RC toy had, and then of course the Flame War toy with Bakan. So a lot of cool stuff going on there, and even mentioned how the design of the Ninja Star was actually designed by Emiliano Santalucia, who is the guy who works with Mondo Toys, who currently, if you're familiar with recently, there was that really cool She-Ra figure that was shown by Mondo Toys. He was the guy behind that, and he helped with the designing of some of the accessories with Transformers Legacy. So it's nice to see that the whole toy community, even in different companies, they're all working together to make the best product for people. So pretty cool stuff. I like what I see, but at the end of the day, I think that we got the right thing in the end with Flame War and stuff like that. And even Mark says, like, that Flame War to him is a Shattered Glass RC, but it's also double duty as a Flame War Bakan character and G1 character. Pretty cool stuff. Again, let me know what you think. Look, hey, we're getting reissues, we're getting Minibots, we're getting Armada. It looks like later this year, and of course next year is going to be another packed year for Transformers. And of course, Hasbro Pulse Con at the end of next month is going to be a big reveal for more stuff. Hopefully some Rise of the Beast stuff. I'm very surprised that Hasbro didn't bring Rise of the Beast stuff. I guess because to them it's still a year away. I don't know. Maybe it was just, with November coming around with Earthspark, that seems like to be the bigger focus, and just kind of get that out of the way. And then when Earthspark is done its run, then they could start focusing on doing the Rise of the Beast hype, I guess. But we're going to be seeing a lot of Rise of the Beast products showing up early in stores too. So we'll see how they go about it. Let me know what you think, guys. We're going to have more news later this week, so be sure to stay tuned to the pod.